bound to make Yokohama by morning, are we?
I'm afraid that's done it, Mr. Fogg. You haven't a prayer of catching your boat now.
Rankin Bass present Festival of Family Classics.
Features and fables will story tell. Each classic creation in new animation. Today's presentation will be
Jules Verne's sensational journey across 3 continents. Around the world in 80 days. Part 2.
So bring on the whole family.
Bank of London rob, £55,000 taken.
A daring bank robbery. And within the walls of the exclusive Reform Club, Mr. Phileas Fogg astounded the other members by saying that the world has grown so small that a criminal could be hiding anywhere.
With the completion of the Trans-Indian Railway, one can now go around the world in exactly 80 days.
80? Around the world in 80 days? Really?
So certain was Phileas Fogg of this fact that he bet his fellow members £20,000 that he could completely circle the globe in exactly 80 days, an incredibly short time. And he embarked on the journey with his valet, Passepartout. But Phileas Fogg's journey did not go unhindered. The great but greedy detective Fix had information that the bank robber was a gentleman. Moreover, he believed that gentleman to be Phileas Fogg, and that his trip around the world was a ruse to escape capture. And so, as visions of the reward of £1,000 danced in his head, Detective Fix began his relentless pursuit of Phileas Fogg and Passepartout. But in spite of the wily detective, the travelers kept to their schedule. And as they went, they were joined, first by Abdul the monkey, who became their fast friend, and then by Aouda, a lovely Indian maiden, whom they rescued from an ancient marriage ritual. Phileas Fogg journeyed from London to Suez, to Bombay, to Calcutta, exactly on schedule. And just as he was about to embark on the next leg of his adventure...
Do your duty, officer.
I'm afraid you must accompany me to the magistrate's court, Mr. Fogg. You are under arrest.
Mr. Phileas Fogg, stand forward, please.
Mr. Billy Bog, eh? You are accused of...
My name is Phileas Fogg, Your Honor.
How's that? Silly S. Hogg? Odd sort of name, eh? Notwithstanding, sir, you are accused of robbing the Bank of London. What say you to that, Mr. Hogg, eh? Hmm? Eh?
Who accuses me, Your Honor?
What's that? Accuses? Ah! Rather, quite right. Who accuses this gentleman?
I does, Your Honor.
Eh? What? Someone spoke?
Abdul, look, it is the madman who attacked us in Suez.
Well, who's that muttering back there? Speak up, man!
I spoke, Your Worship. Detective Fix of the London Police, and I has a warrant for the arrest of Mr. Phileas Fogg.
Rest as a dog? I warn you, sir, this is a court of law. I will tolerate no nonsense.
Not dress, Your Worship. Arrest! I hold here in my hand a warrant that will put Phileas Fogg behind bars for the rest of his life. Here Here, you! Me warrant!
Great monsoon. Bit early this year, what?
As no one has come forward, Your Honor, I must ask to be excused. My ship leaves for Hong Kong in 8 minutes.
Foul play, your worship. Stop that man!
Quickly, Monsieur Fogg. There is no time to spare.
On the contrary, I estimate that it will take us 6 minutes to reach the docks. Therefore, we have 2 minutes to spare. Still, I commend you for thinking along proper lines. En avant, Passepartout.
Stop, thief! Stop that man! Stop him, I say! You've slipped from me grasp once more, Mr. Fogg. But journey's end will tell a different story upon my vow, sir.
Ah, bracing weather, eh, Passepartout? And you, my dear Uda, you enjoying the voyage?
Yes, of course, Mr. Fogg. How could I not enjoy myself with you? And Passepartout for company. But I worry about this storm. Will it not upset your schedule?
Not necessarily. If the wind is behind us, it could well mean that we've gained half a day.
It's not working that way, I'm afraid, Mr. Fogg. We're sailing into the tempest.
I see, Captain. And how much time do you think we'll lose?
24 hours, sir, perhaps more.
A full day? Then we will miss our connection for Yokohama.
We shall see.
Although we made our connection to Hong Kong, we are not so lucky here. The ship for Yokohama has gone. You have lost 3 days, Mr. Fogg.
Which means that we will not be on time for the steamer from Yokohama to San Francisco either. You have lost your wager, Monsieur Fogg.
While you purchase these provisions, Passepartout, I will be seeking out a vessel sufficiently seaworthy for the voyage to Yokohama.
But there are only small craft in the harbor. It's a journey of 6 days. We cannot possibly hope to overtake the steamship.
We most certainly will not overtake her if we spend the time in discussion. Now, you have your orders, Passepartout.
As you wish, Monsieur Fogg. I go at once. Zut alors, for all that I can see where I am, I could just as easily be back in London. Oh, 1,000 pardons, monsieur. I'm afraid that I am hopelessly lost. Could you perhaps tell me where I might buy some provisions?
Why, shiver me timbers, matey. It's a lucky swab you are. Providence has led you to the very place. Come right along with me, my lad. Right in here. Watch that step now.
It does not much have the look of a store, this place.
Now you mustn't judge by appearances, me old son. This establishment is magnificently equipped to provide anything your heart might desire, if you gets my meaning. Now then, how about having a nice little drink while I go fetch the head salesman to come serve you personal like, eh?
Ah, merci, thank you. I will have a glass of water.
Excellent choice, excellent. Never touches anything but the old Aquapura myself. Stab me if I does. Here you are, me hearty. Drink up. Her, her, her. Flat as a flounder. Ahoy, the Sea Dragon! Here's another sailor for you, Captain.
There's the rest of our crew now, Mr. Fogg.
What? We're...
It is Passepartout.
Good heavens. This man is my valet, Captain.
Blimey, it's Phileas Fogg.
Your valet, you say? Well, in that case, we'll just have to Shanghai someone else, won't we? Put this one to work in the bilge. Cast off the lines, lads. Up anchor! Hoist the sails!
We seem to be making excellent time, Captain.
Is there really a chance that we can catch the ship Empress of Japan before it leaves for San Francisco?
It'll be close, ma'am. But a fresh breeze come up at dusk. If it keeps up all night, we're bound to make Yokohama by morning.
Get on with your work, you bilge rat. We're bound to make Yokohama by morning, are we?
I'm afraid that's done it, Mr. Fogg. You haven't a prayer of catching your boat now.
The resourceful man saves his prayers for his hour of genuine need, Captain. On to Yokohama!
That was wonderful, Mr. Fogg.
Amazing. You're too late, Mr. Fogg. The Empress has left her berth.
Passepartout, fire the cannon!
Aye, aye, mon capitaine.
Oh, my word! Ahoy, Empress of Japan! You've forgotten some of your passengers. Drop anchor, lower the ladder. Goodbye, my friend, and thank you.
You may as well give up, Phileas Fogg. You'll never survive another 38 days of this.
Look, something is falling from the sky. Little white things.
Little white things? But, Mademoiselle Aouda, have you never seen snow?
My dear little Aouda, you couldn't have, of course. The sun shines too brightly in India for snow.
I have heard of it, but I never dreamed it was so beautiful. Is it not enchanting, Mr. Fogg?
It is indeed enchanting.
Oh, I must touch it. What can anything so delicate feel like? But it is too fragile to be held. Each tiny flake dies if you capture it, leaving only a tear.
And so Phileas Fogg continues his race with time across the United States of America. Besieged by obstacles at every turn, he overcomes them all. And he finally arrives in New York for the last leg of his journey.
Monsieur Fogg, our ship, it is gone.
That was to be expected, Passepartout. It should have taken us 71 days to reach New York. We gained 5 days, but we lost 6. So we are still a day behind.
But you still have the entire Atlantic to cross, Mr. Fogg. How will you possibly manage it?
We will simply have to seek an alternative means of transportation.
Well, now, Mr. Fogg, you couldn't compare a trip across the Atlantic to stepping across a puddle. You'd have to make it worth my while.
That carpetbag contains most of what is left of 20,000 pounds, Captain. It is yours, if you get us to Liverpool without delay.
20,000 pounds, you say? That would come to about $100,000 American, wouldn't it?
More or less. Well, do we have a deal?
We do, sir. We weigh anchor immediately.
I know you this time, Monsieur Fix. You will not fool us again.
The deal's off. This is a sailing vessel, not a loony bin.
Please, Monsieur le Capitaine, my apologies. You must understand, we have been under a terrible strain.
Well, as long as it doesn't happen again, I'll go get the ship underway. There now, Mr. Fogg. Just enough coal left to get you to the middle of the Atlantic and no farther.
We seem to be making excellent time, Mr. Fogg.
The blessing of steam, my dear. There hasn't been enough wind to spin a child's pinwheel. What has happened, Captain? Why have we stopped?
I'll tell you why, Mr. Fogg. You're out of fuel, that's why. You're, stranded with, more than half the distance to go. You have, lost, Phileas Fogg, and I, Detective Fix, have won.
I see. Passepartout! Aouda! Abdul!
Yes, Mr. Fogg.
We are going to strip every piece of wood on this vessel and feed it to the boilers.
Every piece of wood? The masts, the cabins, the decks?
Every splinter. Now, fall to, my hearties. We have an ocean to cross. Faster, more steam! That's it! Maintain steam! Forward! Faster, we're losing pressure! Keep it up, that's it! Good show!
Liverpool, you have done it, Monsieur Fogg!
Not quite. We still have to reach London. And the last train for London has gone.
With only 6 hours to go. Ah, Monsieur Fogg, to lose this weight is too much to bear.
Oh, my poor Mr. Fogg.
Ah. Passepartout, that carriage.
The carriage? You expect to get to London within 6 hours in a horse and carriage? But c'est impossible, Monsieur Fogg.
Detach the horse from the carriage. I will be back directly. Lash them down firmly, Abdul. Ready, my dear? Everyone aboard! Ignite 2 rockets at a time, Passepartout!
Taking the London train. We will crash into it.
Passepartout! Light all the rockets!
All the rockets, Monsieur Fogg?
All the rockets, Passepartout!
Au revoir, Abdul. May we meet in the next world. That, Monsieur Fogg, is that for the rockets.
Oh, we're falling!
Get hold of Abdul and wrap your arms around my neck, Passepartout.
Monsieur Fogg, do you hear? 9 o'clock.
Yes, Passepartout. 15 minutes too late. I have lost.
Mademoiselle Aouda, may I bring you some tea? Monsieur Fogg.
Thank you, no, Passepartout. What I regret most, my dear Aouda, is that I brought you to England promising to provide for you. And now, my fortune is gone. I stand here before you a ruined man.
With a man such as you, Mr. Fogg, I would gladly share even poverty.
Dear lady, dare I hope that you look upon me with favor? Will you be my wife? My own? Passepartout? Who can that be at this hour?
The great Detective Fix, Monsieur Fogg.
Well, actually, sir, what I'm here to tell you is that the real bank robber has been apprehended, and, well, I'm offering my regrets for having hounded an innocent man.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Fix. I believe Passepartout would enjoy accepting your apologies for me.
Zounds! What a ninny I've been!
The time is 8:40, gentlemen.
Fogg still has 5 minutes. Give him his due.
There's no way he could make it. The last train from Liverpool has arrived and Fogg wasn't on it.
8:42.
3 more minutes and it will be all over.
8:44.
Ah, well, what say to a hand of whist, eh?
Excellent idea, Stuart. I'm exactly on time, I think.
Fogg!
He's done it, Fogg!
Fantastic!
Actually, gentlemen, I thought I had lost. But when I heard the church bells, I realized that it was Sunday and not Monday as I had supposed. I then remembered that by constantly going east on my journey around the world, I had gained 24 hours.
You mean you've been in London for a full night and day, man? What on earth have you been doing?
Ah, I could not have spent the time more profitably nor tenderly. Allow me to present my bride of a day. I have won much, much more than a mere wager, gentlemen.
Well said, sir.
Good show!
Let's have a rousing cheer. Hip, hip, hurrah for Mr. and Mrs. Phileas Fogg! Hurrah! Hurrah! Hurrah!